Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, December the 5th, 2022. Monday, December the 5th. Yeah. Episode was so, it wants to be high emotioned, but to me, forced fake high emotions. We have Sharon. Chance has been pretty much hanging at the coffee house. I guess work has been light because he's been there. And Sharon said, "Would you like some more coffee?" He's like, "No, I'm good, but I guess I've been here a long time." So they, start talking, and he ends up telling her that he's getting a divorce from Abby, and he feels like a failure. And she goes, "And you sure there's no way to reconcile?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Initially, I thought, you know what, if I could just take back things that happened over the last few weeks, few months, perhaps we could rebuild." He says, "But you know what? The more I started thinking about it, the further back I had to go." He says, "Perhaps we truly are not compatible." See, but here's the problem with Chance and that theory. I don't know that he and Abby were ever compatible, period. The only thing they were compatible with is they both came from money. Chance was a free spirit. Abby was Abby. Remember, even on their wedding day, Abby did not want to come out the bathroom. She didn't want to get married, you know? And Chance ended up talking to her, and they ended up getting married. But what was it, within a week or two after they got married, when he went away on assignment abruptly? But within that week or two, we go from not wanting to know that I want to get married to getting married to let's have a baby. So perhaps they were married maybe a month, if that. So we go to wanting a baby that fast. Never talked about kids in their life, right? Then, of course, we find out Abby's uterus has scarring from the miscarriage she had before, which, you know what? Surgery clears up a lot of that. Why has she not had surgery to clear some of that up, right? And Chance's little swimmers were not as swimming as to win the race, but medication and time, the doctor said that should improve. So the two of them could have easily waited, easily, before they had children. And then with that obstacle, why do you automatically turn to let's get a surrogate to carry my egg, and the surrogates of, and then a sperm donor? Because I thought, and I don't quite remember the exact term they used, but his sperm couldn't make it to the egg, right? They weren't potent enough to get the job done. I would think if they would have been put in a petri dish with her eggs, they could roll over into it, right? you know, Look, you put 100 of them in that dish, one of them's gonna roll over fast enough to get in there. I mean, they just couldn't do the whole body thing. But you know what? Ended up they using a donor, which ended up being Devon. But they started their marriage off weird, just weird, almost straight from the honeymoon to Chance is gone. And we're talking gone for months and months. The baby is delivered, so more than 9 months, and then now presumed dead in the explosion. I mean, see, no. So there was a whole lot that went wrong with that marriage. And then when he came back, he had his whole PTSD situation going on. I mean, so that's no excuse for what Abby did, but they went through a lot. And then for him now to be back on the force, losing his partner and having to look the other way on a crime that her father committed, that was just a lot. It was just a whole lot. So anyway, he was just saying, yeah, it's a done deal. And then Victor has the nerve to come into the coffee house And Chance looks at him and walks by. And Victor's, have you spoken to my daughter Abby yet? And Chance looked at him and said, yes, I have. And you're not going to like the outcome. So I suggest you go talk to your daughter. And he walks right past Victor. Doggone right, Victor. He don't know you nothing. And Sharon was right there where the cash register in, because Victor was at the front of Crimson. So Sharon is right there. And so he looks at her, he goes, I don't like people that hurt my daughter. And so Sharon looked at him, she says, well, you know what? Perhaps you don't know the whole story. And Victor looked at her and says, what do you know? And I was thinking, I don't think Chance told her Abby cheated. She may have deducted, but some of their conversation, I did fast forward. So look, any of you daily recap commenters, if he actually told Sharon that Abby cheated with Devon, let me know, because I don't think he told her that, right? So I don't know how much more Sharon. Well, what he did was telling her is, their differences and how Abby just couldn't accept, So I don't know. We'll see what she tells Victor tomorrow. Okay. So that was that with Chance, and then we have Jeremy Stark. Now, remember my theory yesterday at the end? I said, wouldn't that be interesting if Diane was the boss? Well, no, I could tell just by her interactions with him, she wasn't in charge. She wasn't in charge. He's definitely in charge, right? Now, when Jack got home, because of course Jack got home, but before Jack got home, even their interactions, when he goes, she goes, what are you doing here? And he goes, I want to see you. He says, I was surprised you never came to visit me in jail. And she was just like looking, fiddling with her fingers, looking up. No, she wasn't in charge. Well, I didn't, whatever, Diane. So Jack comes home and he goes, well, who do we have here? And she goes, Diane, Jack, this is Jeremy Stark. And Jack goes, oh, pleased to meet you. And she goes, acquaintance or a friend of mine, Jeremy Stark. And he goes, all right, nice to meet you. And so then she goes, yeah, I'm in town and I wanted to look up Diane, because Jack's like, well, what brings you by? Well, I'm in town on business and I heard Diane was here and I wanted to, connect with her. And so Jack's like, well, any friend of Diane's is welcome. And I'm thinking, why would you say that, Jack? Because he's not welcome. It could have been, oh, okay. That's all you had to say, Jack. You didn't have to say any friend of Diane's is welcome, right? Because Diane don't live there. She don't live there. So then he goes, well, can I ask, in business, what kind of business are you in? Jeremy goes, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, And Jack's like, okay, all right, okay. So then Diane goes, well, listen, we were getting ready to go do something. Jeremy says, look, I just wanted to stop in and say hello. I'll take my leave. He goes, hey, perhaps, Diane, we can have coffee or pick up a lunch before I leave town. So she goes, possibly, So he walks out and he goes, something. Oh no. As Jack is letting him out the front door, Jack says, can I ask, how did you know to look for Diane here? And so he goes, oh, just a guess. He goes, because I knew, Diane, I heard she's a grandmother. And I know how much family means to Diane. So lucky guess. Thought I'd try here. Right? And so Jack's like, okay. So he closes the door and, oh, Diane, the nerve of him coming here. Oh. Jack has to go hug her. Oh, Diane, it's okay, Diane. And Diane immediately says, it's Phyllis. It's either Ashley, Phyllis, or Nikki. And oh, she just went on a tirade about them, right? So that was the usual tirade. And I fast forward. I don't want to hear that again, as Jack is sucked into it. Well, at society, Kyle, Summer, and Phyllis are having lunch. Actually, at the end of the day, so it's dinner. They were having an early dinner. Kyle's trying to be civil. He's sitting there. And Summer sees Nick at the bar. So she goes over to Nick and says, Dad, come join me. Please come join me. He goes, no, that looks like drama over. No, no, Dad, I need you. Come join me, you know. So Nick comes over. And Nick was the biggest jerk face. I wanted to punch Nick in his stupid mouth. He's sitting there. He was actually saying like digs at Phyllis for no reason. And so he goes, so, hey, how's it going working at Marchetti? And he's talking to Phyllis. How's the mother-daughter team? Has it imploded yet? And Phyllis is like, no, it's actually going well. He goes, you know, two headstrong women, you know, you and Summer, you guys do clash. And so Summer's looking at Phyllis, Phyllis looking at Summer, and she goes, no, we are motivated, and I forget what word she used, women, powerful women, and they high-fived each other, and things are fine. We work at different ends of the building. Oh, okay. So then he goes, well then, how's Diane? And Kyle kind of looks at Nick. Summer looks across at Nick, like, wait, what? Phyllis looks at Nick, and Phyllis goes, Diane is great. We are all fine. And so Nick says, look, I didn't mean to, you know, I didn't mean to sit down here, you know, I didn't come sit down here to cause trouble. And he looked at Phyllis, he goes, because you could get in enough of that on your own. And she really kind of does a little jerk double take. And I was like, see, what was that about? Your daughter asked you to come sit there to be, you know, to kind of add an extra realm of calm, and Nick did nothing but insult Phyllis and stir up the pot for no reason. And he's trying to make it like it's some smug little joke he's doing or just flip it talking. It was out of line. So Phyllis says, well, okay, I suppose I should ask now, how's it going with working with your family at Newman? And Nick looks, he goes, and that's my cue to leave. And he just gets up from the table, Summer, always pleasure, see you later, and walks away. And Summer looked at Phyllis, Phyllis looked at Summer, and so Summer said, does Dad seem like off today? And Phyllis is like, definitely, right? So as Nick is leaving, Diane and Jack are coming into society, and she's looking through the pane windows, and she sees Phyllis and Summer and Kyle there. Oh, so now she's gonna put on a show. She goes storming in to society, goes over to the table, and yeah, you're trying to ruin me. You're trying to, you, how dare you? How dare you do it? Oh, she just, when Phyllis is like, huh? Like, oh my, what am I doing to deserve this? What's happening? Phyllis was acting, right? And Kyle is like, what's going on? And Jack gets in there and he goes, come on, Diane, come on. And then Jack looks at Phyllis. He goes, come on, Diane, let's go. So he ushers Diane over to the side. And when he ushers her over to the side and Kyle comes over, he goes, what is happening here? And Diane is like, Jeremy Stark showed up at the house. I know Phyllis led him there. I know Phyllis told him to come there. And I'm thinking, no, actually, you don't know it was Phyllis, right? But now she's stating everything as fact. It was Phyllis. It was Phyllis. Well, we all know it was Phyllis, but you know what? I don't think Phyllis gave Jeremy Stark Jack's address. Why would Phyllis do that? Phyllis said she's in Genoa City. There is no way Phyllis would lead this man to the house where her daughter lives. She just wouldn't. Period. Because you're going to be hitting and missing if you think you're going to run into Diane. But guess what? Hitting more than missing, right? But Diane does not live there. I think Phyllis would have told him her workplace. Actually, no, you tell him the hotel she lives in. Okay. So Kyle, Diane, and Jack leave. Kyle comes back over the table. I was just trying to be nice for Summer's sake, but you have gone too far. Summer's like, wait, whoa, what is happening here? And Phyllis is like, what could be happening, right? And so Summer looks at Phyllis, and Kyle goes storming out. Summer goes running out, storming out after Kyle. And he tells her that Jeremy Stark showed up at the house, and she goes, our house where our son lives? And he's like, yes, and your mother sent him to the house. See, we don't know that. So Summer is just like, oh my God, oh my God. So Kyle storms off, and Summer's still out there thinking, whoa, I know she didn't really do this. I know she did not do it, right? So Phyllis comes out, hey, you were out here so long, I thought you were left. I canceled your order, but I can go get it for you to go. And so she goes, Mom, and she lays into Phyllis. She goes, I have defended you. I have stood up for you. And how could you send a criminal to the house where we live, where my son lives? And Phyllis, she goes, tell me you did not. Phyllis is like, wait, what? And so it ended. Phyllis did not have an opportunity to respond. She'll probably respond, tomorrow. But my whole thing is, of course, we know Phyllis is going to deny it, and Summer's not going to believe it. I got the hiccups. Summer's not going to believe it. But if Phyllis says, I would never send anyone to your house, I believe that. I honestly believe that. So we're going to see, right? We are going to just see. But what was interesting is they showed Stark, he's standing at the Grand Phoenix in his room, and he was looking at his iPad, and he goes, good digging, Talia. So see, now, that was the investigative reporter, Talia Robinson, right? Because see, there was some reason she abruptly stopped going after Diane, especially when they started talking about Jeremy Stark. Either Talia knows Jeremy, or Talia is Jeremy's sister, or whatever it might be, because Talia didn't turn on a dime until Jeremy came into the picture on Nikki and Phyllis, right? But even if he doesn't know Talia, remember the first Hatchet article that Talia's editor killed. Talia brought up all of Diane's past things she'd done and that she's back in Genoa City. Talia did put all that out there. So here's the thing. Even if Phyllis would not have gotten a hold of Jeremy would have known, period. That article was out there. The first one on Talia. So we shall see where that's going to go. That's going to be interesting. So we all knew this was going to happen. Anytime you go back to Sally Spectra's hotel room, you could pretty much bet what's going to happen, right? Sally can have the bellman say, can you bring my bags up? And he comes in. We pretty much know what's going to happen. Sally, of course, her and Adam, I don't know, I say make love, have sex? I don't know. To me, it looked more like love versus her and Nick is just sex, right? And Adam and Sally used to have passionate, hot sex, but this was more caring and loving. But guess what? At the end, she's crying, and this is different. You have to admit, it's not the same as it was. This is not going to happen again. It's like People always forever have saying they got to have goodbye sex. Really? Do you? Do you really have goodbye sex? I don't know, right? So, and you deserve, you're wonderful, Adam. You just deserve, oh, blah, 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 who you deserve, who I hope you see, and blah, blah, blah. And so they pretty much, because of Sally's urging more, right? They pretty much parted ways, we're saying goodbye, right? And so Sally, Adam is leaving Sally. They're both dressed. She's, oh no, I'm saying goodbye to him. Oh no, no. Right? So Adam is getting ready to walk. He's walking out Sally's door. Nick is walking down the hallway. And Adam looks at Nick and says, Nick, and keeps right on going. And Nick is like, huh. And Sally's door is not closed all the way. So Nick pushes the door open. And there's Sally standing there, fully dressed, but she's standing there. She's crying. And so she turns around and she looks at Nick, crying. And Nick turns and looks at the bed with all the sheets tossed all over the place. Okay. No, Nick, that wasn't left from the last time you rolled in the hay with Sally. No. She rolled in the hay with your brother. So he goes, I guess I came at a bad time. So we already know Sally's gonna, and the good thing is, this wasn't a situation where Sally just doesn't tell Nick what happened. And always in the back of her mind, even though she said this was a goodbye thing, thinking about it, Nick busted her. So we already know Sally's going to be no, we got caught up, but this was goodbye, right? When remember the dinner on top of the roof was supposed to be the goodbye, right? They said what they needed to say. They got everything out of their system, but not quite, right? We needed to seal the deal at my hotel room. Now it's out of my system or our system. Nick's going to do one or two things. One of two things. He's going to be pissed and he's going to walk away. Even though he knows how conflicted Sally has been where Adam is concerned the entire time that he's been with her, the entire time. It's always been discussing Adam, discussing Adam, discussing Adam. Or he's going to take his father's conversation one or two ways. For one, you know what? I knew it wasn't over between them. I'm going to believe her when she says it's over because truthfully, I'm not in love with Sally. I'm just having sex with Sally, right? Period. So I'll look the other way on this incident and choose to let her think I believe her. Or he's going to walk away and say, you know what? It's not going to be the both of us. And she's going to be, it's not the both of you. It's only you. But either way, Sally's going to come up pregnant. I kind of think the way they always make the Nick and Adam thing between the two, my prediction is Nick is going to stay with Sally. Sally's going to get pregnant. Like Nick will be having sex with her by tomorrow. If not, walk in, close the door after his conversation with her. Next thing we know, they're going to be back in the bed, same bed, saying, how'd this happen? Wow. I didn't think I'd be doing this with you. Because that's Nick and Sally. When she's pregnant, Nick is going to claim the kid as his, period. So there we go. And then it'll come out. And Adam will know, timing's too close. Adam will be insisting on a DNA test right off the bat. Period. Nope. Nope. And it'll be raising one of my kids, brother. You ain't going to raise two. You're raising one, but you're not going to raise two. So that is definitely going to be a big, big contention between them. It's going to be the pregnancy with this baby, period. So the last scene, Kyle shows up to Jeremy Stark's room as if Kyle is anybody, right? You stay away from Diane Jenkins and my family. And Stark is just looking at him like, really? Like, and who are you, kid? So we'll see what Stark tells Kyle tomorrow. Okay, because Kyle, guess what, Kyle? You don't know what's up. So that is it. Oh, no, no, that's not it. We have Tucker. He apologizes to Abby and says, because she goes, I just didn't know he was going to be here today. Because he goes, what is he doing here? Devon says, we discussed this. And I thought you were okay with it, but I didn't know it was happening today. It's like, you know what? Nobody has to clear their schedule with you, Abby, because she shows up early. She goes, I know I'm early to pick up Dot. Well, yes, you are, chick. You were early so you could hit the couch with Devon. That's why you were early, Abby. But you see, Tucker was there. So Tucker apologizes. He goes, Abby, I apologize. Perhaps I should have called you personally in advance and let you know that and I'm thinking, no, that was for Devon to do, Tucker. No. But he was very gracious and sincere with what he was saying. And he was saying all the right things. Right. And he goes, I didn't know that I even had a son when he was this age. I missed out on all of this. And just spending some time with Dominic and Devon, it's invaluable to me, And so Abby's just looking, and he goes, I know we've had a past, and I just want you to know, I'm sincere with this. I want to get to know my grandson, and I will do, I'll be very respectful of you. And so anyway, Devon is looking like, okay, he's cool with me. So Tucker's like, okay, Devon, thank you so much for arranging this. And Tucker leaves. And Devon, because Abby, as soon as she walks in, remember, Tucker was holding little Dominic. She goes and takes him out of his hands quickly with the quickness, And so she's like holding on to her kid. And so when he left, and Devon said, I thought you were okay with this. And I'm sorry if it upsetted you. But like we did talk about this. And she goes, I just wasn't expecting it to happen so soon. I know. So then he goes, so what, are you trying to say you don't want him to see Dominic? Because Devon was not going to let that go, but he wasn't saying it like defensively. He was just asking her questions, because Devon is more of the calm diplomat about things. Even when he was fighting for custody of Dominic, he was calm about it, right? Abby was the one flying off the handle. So Abby says, look, I know that's your father, and it's clear, I could see he cares about, Dominic. And I mean, no matter what, I have bad memories on him, and she don't like him. She goes, but I would never say that, he couldn't spend time with your father. That is your father. And Devon's like, okay, good, because I want to assure you, I will supervise Dominic at all times around Tucker. She goes, no, I know. And so they sit down and they talk. And of course, she tells him, Chance wants a divorce. And Devon is like, well, no couples counseling? No, it's like, look, he walked in on you guys on the couch. Not everybody feels that's couples counseling. Some people feel, no, that's lawyer time, right? Not everybody handles it nicely. Devon didn't handle it nicely, and he didn't walk in on Nate and Elena. Elena just told him about it. And Devon dropped her like a hot potato. They were engaged. Dropped her like a hot potato. So Devon, don't you pretend. Why would he react this way? Yeah. So they're talking, and he's comforting her. Dominic is in his pen are really offset. They had already taken the baby. Baby was done working. He's gone. So they're talking, because the baby was crying. First time they really had him crying, and during the scene, and they were trying to keep him calm with little Cheerios. But anyway, so they were talking, and she's like, no, it's over, and blah blah blah. So with that being said, Tucker leaves, and he gets a text message. He's at Society, I think. And it says, Jeremy Stark is in town. So somebody told him Jeremy was in town, either his investigator, maybe Audra, because we haven't seen Audra in a hot minute. How's Audra paying her hotel bill? Because she's clearly not doing nothing on an IPO. As a matter of fact, Chancellor Winters hasn't discussed the IPO again. So hopefully that whole thing is out the window, which means Audra's job is out the window, right? So I was sitting there looking at Chance and Sharon talking. And I thought, are they going to put Chance and Sharon together? I kind of think it was going to be Chelsea and Chance because they started that for a minute, right? Because I kind of think, unfortunately, Sharon and Jeremy Stark might hit it off. I don't know. I don't like that because Sharon does not need turmoil. She doesn't, right? And Stark's not going to be a good guy. But I could see Audra and Chance. Oh, no. Audra's too messy. Way too messy for Chance. No, Chance wouldn't go for that in the least. So maybe Chelsea and Chance. We'll see if they keep Chance. Honestly, to me, they don't need Chance's character on the soap anymore. It's futile. He never really represented a true chancellor anyway. He's not in the chancellor business. Let Chance be Chance and Rolling Stone right on out of town again. That could be Chance, and I'm cool with that. We won't miss Chance. So that was it for the Young and the Restless today. Let's go to comment corner, see what comments we have going on here. We have Patricia. Let's see. She says, I agree. I love the scene with Tucker, Devon, and the baby. I also think Jeremy Stark will bring more excitement to the show. Wonder if the next secret Diane has is that she's married to Jeremy. I think that could be true. Well, no, because look, I don't know. We'll see. He might tell her, I'm gonna let everybody know we're married because he left it as, can we have coffee or, lunch before I leave? So we shall see. I hope they give Chance a new exciting adventure and storyline and a new lady. And you know what? I could care less about Chance. Shirley says, Tucker was talking to someone on the phone. Could have been that man. He said, everything's set. I guess he asked a question, everything's set. You know what? I do remember Tucker on the phone. And I am wondering who was he talking to? And Charlotte, I don't understand your comment at all. Were you talking about the same soap? So Charlotte, update your comment, on today's episode, because I don't know what you said. Carrie Jo says, Phyllis told Nikki and Abby's mom, who's Ashley, that she just told Jeremy that Diane was in Genoa City. I know, that's what I think. Not where she was staying. But Diane doesn't even stay at the the Abbott house. She doesn't stay there. I believe I heard her say that. She did say that. She didn't say I told her she come to the Abbott house because Ashley would have jumped off that couch and mopped Phyllis up if she would have said that. Lisa says maybe Phyllis left that detail out. No, Phyllis wouldn't tell her to go to the Abbott house. Did you see how she reacted when Ashley and Nikki had second thoughts about reaching out to a convicted felon? She was determined to get rid of Diane. Yeah, she's shocked. They didn't put her in the loop that they were changing their mind because Nikki sure was sitting down with Phyllis and Talia Robinson trying to get Talia to write a story on Jeremy Stark and where Diane is. So no, Phyllis, what you mean? Nikki, you changed your mind? You guys win. When did this happen? Right? And then Carrie Jo says, you are right about Devon and Tucker in the baby scene. It was so natural. I hope Tucker doesn't mess it up. I hope not either. Monica says, Nick represents a fairy tale to Sally, rescuing her from the big bad wolf, which is Adam. You all want the fairy tale, but it's not realistic. Nick is the good version of love, where Adam represents what's bad and ugly, the bad and ugly of love. You know what? Let's talk about Nick's divorces and broke up marriages. How good version of love is Nick Newman? Love can be great painful. And then Monique says, Sage wrote a letter that Adam was Christian's father. Oh, okay. I've forgotten exactly how Adam found out. Lisa said, hopefully Adam is the father and not Nick. It looks like Nick is likely to seek custody. I know he tries to seek custody of every one of his kids. And then LaShanta says, no, Phyllis did not tell where Jack lived. She said Genoa City. And Diane is the one who turned him in. Yeah, she said that. Lisa says, I think Phyllis did give the Genoa City an address. There's no way Jeremy would know where the Abbott's house is. Yeah, you would. Without, for one thing, she knew it was Diane Jekin. She knows he would know enough to know who Diane's son is. Okay. And like we saw, he was reading information that he had from Talia Roberts. So no, he would know the Abbott house. And he would, honestly though, if he wanted to inflict the greatest amount of fear in Diane, that is the place to show up, right? Terror in that woman, which he did. I know where your family lives. Because he goes, Diane is big on family. And he just smiled. Diane looked like, wait, what? Huh? Yeah. So no. And Jack kind of caught that too. So and then Lisa says Phyllis had just finished contacting him and now he's at the house. I still don't think Phyllis gave him the address. And then Libby says, I told him where that witch was. Yeah, she said that, but she said, I told him she was right here in Genoa City. Phyllis was like gangster when she said it. She said, she didn't give the address. Hand gestures and everything, LOL. Robin says, hello, enjoying your recaps and great comments. I must comment on Devon's baby. He made that scene work with Devon and Tucker. Very good. And then Libby says, yeah, that baby has more personality than Harrison. I think Harrison I wouldn't say he doesn't have personality. They just really haven't given little Harrison's actor too much to do, right? They really haven't. Just to look cute with long hair. Okay, I mean, I don't know. And then Libby says, Tucker Devon Dom scene was precious. It could have been real. Yes, it could have. I almost mentioned that Dom finally looks biracial when we first saw him a week or so ago, but wasn't sure if I should go there. Well, I mean, there's nothing about they got a biracial baby. Devon is black. Okay, his father just happens to be white. And so yeah, that is a biracial kid. I'm just happy they got one to play it. I was happy they didn't whitewash him. It's been a moment since YNR was bold about race. I was trying to think. They've always had a black family. Well, you know what? Look, let's look at it. Biracial, it does not have to mean black and white. I mean, look at Noah and Allie. They're definitely going biracial. They have, remember, Jack and Chemo's mother. So they really don't have a problem going biracial. Look at Kane and Lily. They just haven't had a storyline where they needed it to be or lend it to it to be biracial. And then they said, I was disappointed that the only time they discussed Abby's pregnancy, well, Abby wasn't even pregnant, it was Mariah, was the brief conversation with Devon about the baby needing to navigate being a biracial child in a white family. I remember Abby saying that, which was happy. She was happy she had Devon involved. I like this episode. The acting was fantastic all around. Diane in full on rescue mode. Yeah, rescue me mode. You worked with this man for years probably in LA. Don't even pretend you're that scared. you're scared that he's going to tell some of the other stuff you did. That's what she's scared of. Let's see. Ashley, Nikki concerned about Tucker, and Phyllis being Phyllis. I bet they're about right about Diane being the ringleader. Yeah, but after seeing Diane, I did say that on the last recap. But after seeing Diane in today's episode, that she wasn't the leader, not at all. She wasn't the leader because look, if she was the leader when she let Tucker in, I'm not Tucker, Stark in, she would have turned around slow and said, "Who gave you permission to turn up here where my son lives and my grandson lives? You better turn around, walk out the door, go anywhere, I don't care. And you wait for me to call you and tell you where we're going to meet." You got it? That's what she would have done if she were in charge. But anyway, everybody, I'll be back tomorrow for tomorrow's daily recap on The Young and the Restless. Let's see if anything good happens tomorrow. I think, though, Phyllis and Summer, I want to see what Summer says or Phyllis says to kind of half get out of that. So we'll be back tomorrow.